Welcome to Mystic Legacy. Mystic Legacy is a 2 to 4 player collectible card game. The veil is torn. The war for creation has begun. Build a deck using demonic, sacred, and spirit energy in this fast-paced card game. Command legendary heroes, summon powerful monsters, and lead divine beings into battle. Your goal? Survival. Shatter your opponent's aura before they shatter yours. The last player standing wins. Each player begins with 8 aura cards. As they take direct damage, their aura is reduced. Once a player's aura is depleted, any additional damage kills that player. The last player standing wins. There are 2 types of cards: character cards, which battle, and event cards that trigger special abilities. Each card has a specific color which represents the type of energy that card uses and generates. Red is for demonic energy, blue for sacred energy, green for human spirit energy, and white or colorless for generic energy. Some cards may have more than one color. To summon a character, pay its summoning cost and place it onto the field from your hand. When characters battle, they inflict damage to the opposing character equal to their power. When a character's damage exceeds their power, that character is injured. If a character is injured, they can be healed by paying their healing cost. A character's critical is the amount of damage they inflict to the opponent's aura when attacking directly. Decks are comprised of 60 cards, with up to 3 copies of any card allowed per deck. The play area is comprised of different zones. Characters are typically summoned into the main zone. To summon a character, pay its summoning cost by switching to rest the amount of energy indicated. When a card is switched to rest, it is rotated to a horizontal position. When a character is injured, they are moved into the injured zone. Characters in the injured zone can still fight and use their abilities. Characters in the injured zone can be healed by paying their healing cost. To pay the healing cost, flip face down the number of energy indicated. Face down energy becomes colorless. If a character is injured while in the injured zone, they are sent to the graveyard. Cards are placed into the energy zone to generate energy. Each card generates 1 energy, the same color as the card. When paying an energy cost to summon, heal, or activate a special ability, at least 1 energy must match the color of the card itself. Costs can be paid by switching energy to rest, or by flipping energy face down. When there are 3 or 4 players, a single die is rolled during the standby phase of each turn to determine the target opponent for that turn. For a 3-player game, roll a 4-sided D4. For a 4-player game, roll a 6-sided D6. Each player is assigned a number based on the order of play. The player that goes first is player 1. The player that goes second is player 2. Third is player 3. Fourth is player 4. Play continues clockwise from player 1. When you roll a die, if you land on another player's number, that is your targeted opponent for that turn. When you battle or activate abilities, they will typically only affect the targeted opponent. If you roll your own number, you may select any player in the game to target for that turn. You must declare your selection during your standby phase. If you roll a number not assigned to a player, you may choose to target either player directly to your left or your right for that turn. Now that you know the basic mechanics, let's walk through a sample game. In this example, we'll duel a single player. First, all players shuffle their decks. They then draw 8 cards and places them to the side to serve as their aura. These cards remain face down and the players do not look at them. Next, each player draws 5 cards as their starting hand. If they do not like their hand, they may add those cards back to the deck, reshuffle, and draw 5 new cards. A player may do this only once. Each turn is comprised of 6 phases: the standby phase, the draw phase, the main phase, the battle phase, main phase number 2, and the end phase. So we'll start the game. Standby phase. First, return all of your characters and energy to active by rotating them to the vertical position. Since there are no cards in play, we'll move on to the next phase. Draw phase. We'll draw 1 card. Main phase. So there are several actions a player can perform during the main phase. These actions can be done in any order. Once per turn, a player can add 1 card from their hand to their energy zone. Alternatively, they can turn over 1 face-down energy, restoring it to its original color. They cannot do both of these actions on the same turn. On this turn, we'll place a card from our hand into the energy zone. During the main phase, a player may also summon and heal characters, as well as activate character abilities and event cards. There are no limitations on the number of these actions that can be performed, so long as the player is able to meet their cost requirements. We'll summon Matindir by switching 1 green energy to rest and placing her in the main zone. Battle phase. During the battle phase, a player may attack any opposing character that is at rest, or they can attack the opposing player directly. Only characters that are active may attack. During each player's first turn, only the player that goes last may activate the battle phase. Since this is our first turn and we are not the last player, we'll skip this phase. Main phase 2. During the second main phase, you may perform any additional main phase actions, provided you can pay the energy costs. Currently, we have no further actions to take. End phase. During the end phase, damage to all characters is reset and the turn ends. Play then passes to the next player. Player 2 begins their turn. Standby phase. All characters and energy are returned to active. Draw phase. They draw 1 card. Main phase. The player adds 1 card from their hand to their energy zone. Now they'll summon a character. They'll switch 1 blue energy to rest to summon Lathra into the main zone. Next, they'll use an event card. Day is a field effect that doesn't have an energy cost. Field effects impact all characters in every player's field. The field consists of the main and injured zones. Field cards are placed above the graveyard. They remain active until removed. Only 1 field effect can be active at a time. If another field effect is played, it replaces the previous one. Battle phase. The player will attack with Lathra. To attack, switch the character to rest and declare the target of the attack. The player declares an attack on us. Typically, we would receive damage to our aura equal to the attacking character's critical. However, we have a character that is currently active. If a defending player has any characters that are active, they can block the attack. When they block an attack, they switch the target of the attack to the blocking character. In this case, we would switch Matindir to rest, forcing the opponent to attack her instead. Both Matindir and Lathra deal their power to each other as damage. Since Lathra's damage exceeds her power, she is injured and moved to the injured zone. When a character changes zones, their damage is reset to 0. Main phase 2. There are no further actions for the player to take, so they end this phase. End phase. All damage is reset to 0 and play passes back to us. It's our turn. Standby phase. We switch all of our characters and energies to active. Draw phase. We draw 1 card. Main phase. We'll add another card to our energy zone. Next, we'll summon Lotus. Since she is both green and blue, we'll need to switch to rest 1 green and 1 blue energy. Battle phase. Let's attack. The opponent has one character at rest. We can target that character or the player directly. Since the player has no active characters, they cannot block. We'll switch Lotus to rest and attack the player directly. We inflict Lotus's critical to the opponent's aura. The opponent removes one card from their aura and adds it to their hand. Main phase 2. We have no further actions to take. End phase. We end our turn. It's player 2's turn next. Standby phase. They switch their characters and energy to active. Draw phase. They draw one card. Main phase. They add one card to their energy zone. They switch 2 energy to rest to summon Falcon. Since Falcon is green, one of the energy must be green. The other energy can be any color. They then flip one blue energy face down to heal Lathrop. Battle phase. They switch Falcon to rest and declare an attack on Lotus. Let's use an event card. Dragon Shield is a free event card, meaning we can play it at any time, even during the opponent's turn. Dragon Shield negates an incoming attack and ends the current battle phase. Lotus is safe. Main phase 2. The opponent activates an event card. They play Potion of Rejuvenation. This card allows them to turn over up to 2 of their face down energy. Since they only have 1 energy face down, they turn that 1 over. End phase. They end their turn. Play continues in this manner. Let's skip ahead to the end game. It's our turn. Standby phase. We switch all of our cards to active. Draw phase. We draw 1 card. Main phase. We'll turn over 1 for our face down energy. Because we've done this, we cannot add another card to our energy. In our hand, we have the card Kari Hyperform. This card has a transform ability. Transform allows us to special summon a character without paying the required energy cost. Instead, we'll distribute the base Kari, sending her from the field to the graveyard, and add Kari Hyperform to our main zone. Kari Hyperform has few other special abilities. When summoned, we may draw up to 2 cards from our aura and add them to our hand. She also gains +2 power for every shotgun character in our graveyard. We don't have any shotgun characters in our graveyard, so we'll move on. Battle phase. We'll switch Kari Hyperform to rest and attack the player directly. Because they have an active character, they block. They switch Talus King of the Day to rest. Kari Hyperform and Talus King of the Day battle. Kari receives 9 damage. Her power is 10, so she is uninjured. The damage Talus receives exceeds his power. He is injured and moved into the injured zone. The damage to Talus is reset to 0. In our hand, we have another free event card, Reverie of Dark Light. This card requires us to flip 3 energy face down. In exchange, we switch 1 target character to active. We flip 1 red and 2 other color energy face down and return Kari Hyperform to active. Now we can use her to attack again. We switch Kari to rest and target the opponent directly. This time, the opponent has no active characters to block. Kari has a critical of 3. The opponent only has 2 aura remaining. The opponent's aura is depleted at 2 and is exceeded. The opponent is killed. Keep in mind, a player is not killed once their aura reaches 0. They must take at least 1 damage after it's been fully depleted. In this case, if the opponent had 3 aura remaining when we did 3 critical damage to their aura, the aura would be reduced to 0, but they would still be alive. Since we are the last player alive, we win the duel. There are lots of different Mystic Legacy cards with unique powers and abilities. Mystic Legacy is based on the Records of the Three Realms novel series. Pick your favorite characters and get ready to battle for survival. Build your deck, master the Mystic Arts, and create your legacy.